I think by nature with a USP, you're also when you're looking at your audience, you're thinking about, okay, who am I selling to? What are their needs? What are their pain points? What gets them excited? How can I speak their language? When you're thinking about that audience, if you're being too broad with that audience, you're not really going to be able to nail anything down that's meaningful to that audience. And so you're going to have to sacrifice people, like for Crew XP, by being built for partnerships and by saying no to brand side customers, you're limiting your audience and you are sacrificing customers, sacrificing projects, sacrificing revenue by doing that. But
Yes.
you're also saying yes to so many great opportunities that can, in your case, was a business decision for long-term growth and sustainability.
I'm smiling because you and I shot a week ago an episode called Grow with No. And it really, and if you're a small business owner or you've made a shift in your business model or offering the last 3 years post pandemic, it's a very scary and courageous thing to say no to certain business, especially when you've got some overhead and you've got to pay the bills and you want revenue. But when we were all in on trade only business, um, yeah, no exceptions, right? We're dismantle anything we did to pursue or accept brand side business, and it still comes in our nets, and we refer that out. And if we don't have a good person we can refer to, we just say sorry, we don't do that anymore. Um, but man, to your point a minute ago, Cleo, once you narrow that focus, what happens is the speed and the velocity which you pick up because you're so clear on who your audience is and what your offering is. Um, all I can tell you is if you're good at it, it just works out. The Your dance card still gets filled. You get the reputation for being um, these guys, not those guys, right? And it's been wonderful. And once you make that leap, and you're just all in. Oh wait, it's so much easier to tell your story on what your USP is when you're true to it and you're not sort of pretending or just sort of peripherally you're still doing this other stuff. Yeah, and granted, if you're a brand new startup, man, I know how hard that would be to do because your number one priority is I got to hire two project managers and I got to get into a space because I'm either working for home or I'm in an executive suite or whatever, and you need money to do that, and so the pressure to take on anything that comes in the door is there, and I'm just saying from experience, you will have more fun and enjoy success quicker if you really decide who you are and commit to that, and then use your creativity to develop the strategy in maybe a narrower lane, but just you can be then you can also be known for your USP because it's much truer. So yeah, I you're right. Growing with no is not a negative. It's absolutely a positive.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to that episode, it's the one right before this. So you're listening to USP, go listen to Grow with No because they go hand in hand. But just like you have to know your audience, you've got to know your strengths because you've got to be able to deliver, like you said. And so think about what do you do best? What do your customers always talk about? What do they rave about? Where are they like when they leave a review on your business? What are they mentioning? Um, and maybe that's your team, maybe that's your processes, maybe that's how you deliver, maybe that's how you communicate, whatever it is. Listen to those things, know your strengths, and then double down on them. I think for a lot of people, they'll look at the competition and they'll feel like they have to benchmark and follow what their competitors are doing. And that goes in a lot of things. It's how their competitors market, what channels they're on. It's how what their offering is. It's what their pricing is. And I was just talking to someone about this the other day. Your competitors do not have your best interests in mind. And likely, if you're benchmarking and just following their lead, you're always going to be behind because what you're seeing on their website, what you're seeing in their proposals, what you're seeing at their shows is what they worked on 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. And so you're at best, if you're benchmarking, you're going to be your competitor 2 years ago. And so
Yeah.
you have to think differently. You've got to position yourself differently. So focus on your audience, not your competitors, and then understand what your strengths are. And that where those intersect, that's what you should be focused on, right? That's where you can start crafting your message. That's when you can start developing that USP.
You can't go wrong if your true north compass in business is following what your customer says, what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, being belly to belly with the customer, it's you can look at what your competitors doing, you can read what the pundits are saying, industry trends are. But your best indicator of where to point your business is by listening to your customers.
Yeah, absolutely.